What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Buffalo Commander. I am your host, Alex. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the notification bell on your way in. Stefon Diggs was traded today, and a big shocker of a move to everyone except for me. I called it yesterday when he was putting up all those stupid tweets again. Well, I'll say it, one stupid tweet, but it's all piled up on me at this point. So I'm just gotten sick of it to the point where I was ready for him to go. Like, I made multiple tweets yesterday that they should trade him. I don't know if he saw it and got upset and requested a trade because of me. Probably not. But there are others that were calling for it too. So there is a large contingent of the fan base who has defended him at each and every turn, no matter how much he trolls you, and no matter how much he gaslights you, you still defend the guy. I was literally in a Twitter space this morning and watched or listened to people berating other fans about how they need to stop taking this so seriously. Diggs has told us, I don't know how many times he has to tell you that he's happy here and he wants to be here and he wants to end his career here and all this other stuff. And literally in the middle of the Twitter space, he gets traded, and it was beautiful. Like, it was beautiful. I watched it and I was like, oh, like everything you just said is just crumbling down in front of you. It's fantastic. I was ready for it to happen, as you can tell. Um, Now, this is a blow for the team, no doubt. Okay. He's a good receiver still. But let's not pretend like he didn't fade a little bit last year. And it's also not pretend like he actually wanted to be here. His responses at times were like pulling teeth when asked if he wants to be here. It's the equivalent to Dwight when he asks Angela, "Do you still love me?" And she goes, I thought I already told you that I did. When we know what that means. If you've ever dated somebody who you like more than them and they're not reciprocating enough, and then you see how they respond to you, or you're hunting for responses from them and how they respond back. That's what Diggs is doing to Buffalo and the media and the fans. And he continues to gaslight us. He did it in the middle of last year and got upset with the media for asking him questions about it when his brother was tweeting a bunch of stuff, and then he got mad, basically saying, like, that's my brother and he's family and I'm not going to tell him to do what he's going to do. Really? If my brother was saying things on Twitter about my job that were causing my bosses to question my loyalty, I'd have a conversation with my brother. But that's not the stance he took. The stance is, stop asking me questions. Already told you. Like, duh, you're stuck here. You're not going to be able to leave mid-season. Of course he's going to say that. But we knew he wasn't happy. And then that comment yesterday about some guy, it was a totally harmless comment by the fan saying that, yeah, a number one wide receiver is helpful for sure, and it helps a lot, but it's not essential. And he says, are you sure? Like, dude, are you basically saying that Josh Allen wasn't going to be good without you? We're talking about a year 2 to year 3 leap anyway. That's what a lot of quarterbacks do. A lot of them make this year 2 to year 3 leap, and that's a thing. So how do we know that Diggs, of course, helped, but how do we know Josh wouldn't have done that anyway? We don't know that answer. So my thing at this point is, I had enough of him trolling, gaslighting, whatever you want to call it, the fans, and basically just stirring things up because it's fun for him, I guess, or whatever. And either the team had enough, or Diggs was already done, and they were like, "All right, we'll adhere to your trade demand at this point and move on." We got a second round pick next year for him, in addition to a late rounder next year and a late rounder this year. So is that not enough? I don't know. He's got a big contract, so that's probably why it was as cheap as it was. I like the second next year, and I think we'll use it as ammo. I think we're at the point now where we're looking at trade up season higher than I anticipated in the 2024 NFL draft. And I do believe that that's the route they're going to go. They're going to make a hard and aggressive move. What it'll probably cost to get up to different spots is questionable, but this is kind of what I think. In order to get to the mid-teens, we're probably looking at a 2025 second, which we have 2 of them now, a 4th this year, in 28. I think we get mid, maybe even low teens, 13, 12 range by doing that. Probably in the 14 range because I don't see the Broncos or the Raiders moving out. So that's probably BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr. territory. I'm okay with that. We don't lose a whole lot doing that, which is good. A fourth, really, and a second next year when we already have two. So if that's their plan, great. I'd prefer Odunze. In order to do that, I'm thinking a 2025 first, pick 28, along with a fourth and a fifth this year. Probably gets us to the Bears pick. They're looking for extra picks. So I would say add in some more from next year, but they want the picks. They want ammo. They only have like I think 4 picks in this draft, and they're not it's not a good situation. So throwing in a fourth and fifth this year. The fifth is relatively high in the fifth round, so it's almost like 2 fourths. Pick 28 and a 2025 first. That might get us there. I think it probably does get us there. Do we have to throw in another pick in next year? Maybe. I don't know, but that would get us there and get us to pick 9. That's Odunze territory. We can get him in that state. And then we can keep pick 60. That's the whole point of this. I wanted to do this exercise because I want to keep pick 60 in case we want to double dip, which I don't think we will. I think we might go defensive end or guard in that spot and then get another receiver in the mid rounds. That's what my take is at this point. I think 2 receivers at this point in this draft is necessary. And I don't want any of the vets that are out there. I don't want OBJ or any of these. I'm done. I don't want any of that. I want us to have a nice young receiving core and let Allen develop them. I mean, other quarterbacks do it all the time with young receivers. Jordan Love does it in Green Bay with a lot of young receivers. So CJ Stroud does it or did it in Houston. So like it's not impossible to do. And we have a franchise quarterback. He's a top 3 quarterback, no matter what way you cut it in this NFL. Top 5 at a minimum. And that's if you're being disingenuous. So and last one is to move up even higher. I threw in a 2025 first, pick 28, a 20 pick the 4th and 5th rounder this year, and a second rounder in 2025 also. So a first and a second in 2025, a 4th and a 5th, and pick 28. And that I think gets you in the top 7, maybe 5 to 7 range. And I do think that's Malik Neighbors territory. I think that's the target for Buffalo, what they want. I think the ideal culture fit is going to be Odunze. He is one of the best character players I've ever seen at the combine. Like what he did and put in with not having anything on the line, like none of that mattered. Like he didn't need to do all that at the combine, and he did, and his draft stock went through the roof. I love him. In fact, if you're asking me who I think's less of a chance of busting, I think it's Odunes, and that's probably the realistic territory of moving up. But if we want to get real aggressive, we could go get Neighbors. But I think then we start talking about whether pick 60s on the board in that case. So those are my scenarios. I don't think it's all bad news. I think it was time to move on from Diggs. I think that he was in a place in his career, being 31 years old, where it was probably just time anyway. We saw serious drop-offs, and I'll show you here with what he did last season. And I'll expand a little bit here. But after the Giants game, which was 16 targets, 10 catches, 100 yards, no touchdowns, where the offense looked clunky and struggling, that was his last 100-yard game. That was week 6. Then he went on a run of 58, 70, 86 yards, 34, 27, 74, 24 yards, 48 yards, 29 yards, 26 yards, and finished the season with 87 yards against the Dolphins, who he always kills. Then we get to the playoffs. He had 52 yards against the Steelers and 21 yards against the Chiefs. That's not good, folks. It's just not. That's not what you want from a number 1 receiver. And you could say he was hurt all you want. And you can say that the offense changed with Joe Brady all you want. That is not what happened. I know there was a few missed catches. I know there's a few missed throws from Josh Allen. That's true. But dude, he looked, I watched him closely. He looked like he lost a step or 2. That Miami game, ever since that Miami game week 4, he trended down. He looked like he gave everything he had left in the tank as a 30-year-old wide receiver to that game to get us on the right track. And it took everything out of him. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like watching it. Even seeing 100 yards against the Giants. That didn't feel like 100 yards. I was shocked when I went back and looked. I was like, wait, he had 100 yards in that game. That's weird. It did not feel that way. So that's where we are. I don't think this is a bad thing. We just got rid of a 31-year-old wide receiver who was a headache. We can fully start over now. This is the new era of Buffalo Bills football, and I'm excited for that. And I'm excited for the people to stop talking about how Diggs is why Allen is who he is, because he's going to step up and he's going to play. He's going to have a great season this year. I know it. I can feel it. I can feel Josh Allen having a breakout year with 3 new young with Curtis Samuel wide receivers, Kincaid with another year under his belt, Shakir with another year under his belt, James Cook with another year under his belt. I can feel the explosion. It's coming. We're getting separators. That's what we lacked with Davis and Sherfield, and Hardy couldn't get separation. Diggs towards the last part of the year did not get a lot of separation. So we're at that stage where it's time to reset. And that was the theme of this offseason so far, when we lost Morse and Bates and all these guys, and Trey White and Jordan Poyer and all these guys. So it is what it is. I think it's a good thing. I'm excited about it. I'm excited not to worry about Stefon Diggs anymore and his antics, and excited for a fresh start. And this guarantees the wide receiver train in the first round is in full force, and it won't be stopped. So I'm very excited about that, because we've needed a high end wide receiver draft pick for a very long time, and I'm pumped. So anyhow, just want to make this a short video. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.